The launch date for Flight 8 is taking shape, fueling anticipation while Pad B nears completion. Meanwhile, the Aerospace Safety Advisory Panel has issued key recommendations for NASA's Artemis program, and Japan has achieved another milestone in space exploration. Let's dive into these updates on today's episode of Great SpaceX. It's been 2 weeks since the 7th Starship mission, and all eyes are now on Flight 8, with expectations running higher than ever, especially in addressing the unfinished goals of Flight 7. Naturally, the most pressing questions is when the next launch will take place. A recent update from the Federal Communications Commission has provided the first major hint, and other sources have confirmed that SpaceX teams are optimistic about a launch before the end of February. According to the newly announced FCC license update, the approved operational window for Flight 8 extends from February 24th to a month later on August 24th, 2025. While this time frame provides a broad range, the most crucial takeaway is the starting date, implying that Flight 8 will not launch before February 24th. If this timeline holds, the soonest possible launch is about 3 weeks away, marking a turnaround time of just over a month since Flight 7. This timeline is understandable as SpaceX continues working through post-flight analysis and coordination with the FAA, addressing debris handling, investigating the cause of the ship failure, and implementing necessary upgrades. Work on resolving these issues began immediately after Flight 7, but no further details have been disclosed by either SpaceX or the FAA. A recent claim suggested that some SpaceX engineers and QA staff were fired for allegedly bypassing the S-33 check to meet the launch schedule. But Musk directly refuted this, stating the claim was not accurate. This indicates that the Flight 7 anomaly was a technical challenge rather than a result of negligence, and SpaceX is taking all necessary steps to ensure a successful Flight 8. While the end of February seems like a reasonable target, many are hoping for an earlier launch. The good news is that progress remains steady, with no significant damage reported from the last flight. The FAA has also introduced procedural improvements that should allow for a faster turnaround, keeping hopes high for a timely launch. SpaceX's preparations are progressing efficiently. The launch system continues to undergo inspections and refurbishment, though no significant issues have been reported, meaning it could be ready for action at any time. Meanwhile, on the hardware side, Ship 34 is currently receiving its engines after completing cryogenic testing at Massey. Cameron County has announced a brief road closure on the 4th of February, likely for the transport of either Booster 16 or Ship 34, though the latter seems more probable. If so, this movement would mark a key milestone, the static fire test. Once completed, the ship will have successfully undergone its independent tests, bringing Flight 8 one step closer to launch. Even if the launch system is prepared in advance, Booster 15's movement is expected later, which means 2 static fires could take place in the coming weeks. Once this step is complete, SpaceX will need additional time to finalize system checks and installations, including the flight termination system, payload integration, payload dispenser, and hot staging modifications. While these additional steps will extend the timeline slightly, they are critical for ensuring a smooth mission and maintaining safety standards. Given the current pace of progress, the end of February target still appears feasible. The FCC's timeline offers an estimate, but final launch clearance depends on FAA approvals and SpaceX's internal readiness. Musk and the company have not provided further updates following the post-flight review of Flight 7, leaving some uncertainty. However, if all goes as planned, a late February launch would be an exciting milestone. With each Starship flight, SpaceX continues to push the boundaries of spaceflight and refine its vehicle reusability. Every test provides new insights, helping improve designs, optimize systems, and move closer to routine Starship launches. While challenges remain, the rapid progress at Starbase signals that a new era of space travel is within reach. If you're as excited as we are for Flight 8, reply this month in the comment section and let us know. After that, show your support by liking the video and subscribing to our channel if you haven't already to keep following SpaceX's journey. Your contribution is invaluable and motivates us to deliver the latest updates, with the next milestone being 170,000 subscribers. More importantly, we'll continue to follow SpaceX's ambitious journey together as they pioneer the future of space exploration. Thank you for being part of this incredible adventure. In the meantime, SpaceX is making rapid progress not just on the vehicle and Pad A, but also on the nearby Pad B system. The most significant development so far is the advancement of the Mechazilla arms. After being lifted into place, the main arms and the chopstick carriage were successfully connected. On the afternoon of January 27th, multiple recordings captured the crane hoisting the system onto the tower. Shortly after, the chopstick carriage was firmly attached to the structure and the assembly framework was removed, signaling that its role in the installation process was complete. Work on the chopstick system is far from complete. The arms currently represent only the initial phase, with modifications ahead. Welding will extend their length, and additional components, including the pulley system, will be installed. Below, the orbital launch mount system continues its construction at the Sanchez site, surrounded by a dense network of scaffolding. Nearby, pipes are being lifted and assembled to form the flame bucket system. If progress continues at this pace, these systems should be fully assembled before being transported to Pad B for final installation. If this progress holds, Pad B could be completed within the month, paving the way for testing. This timeline aligns with SpaceX's plans, as Flight 8 will not involve catching the Starship. That milestone is expected to begin with Flight 9, and many analyses suggest that Tower B will play an immediate role in this crucial step. The long-awaited era of the two towers is now within reach, potentially as early as the first half of this year. When it arrives, it will represent a historic leap toward full rocket reusability, achieved by the world's largest rocket. Are you ready for this groundbreaking moment in spaceflight history? In other news, the Aerospace Safety Advisory Panel has raised concerns about NASA's approach to the Artemis program, urging a review of its mission plans to mitigate risks. On January 30th, the panel recommended that NASA reassess its current objectives, particularly for Artemis 3, to ensure a more balanced and manageable level of risk across the program. The agency believes that NASA is placing too many challenges on a single mission, which could jeopardize its success. Bill Bray, a member of the panel, highlighted these concerns, stating, "Each first milestone carries its own individual risk, and as these risks are compounded and aggregated, it only increases the overall risk posture for any individual flight mission." It really begs the question, is it time for the agency to reassess the current mission objectives and its approach for Artemis 3 and beyond, with the goal to better balance the risks across all those flight tests? The concerns raised are valid, as Artemis 3 introduces several groundbreaking elements. This mission aims to demonstrate the capabilities of the Starship lunar lander, test Axiom's new spacesuit, and complete 13 key tasks, each presenting technical and operational challenges. Additionally, changes to the Orion heat shield add another layer of uncertainty. The panel's concerns extend to future missions, including Starship's role in Artemis 4, Blue Moon's debut in Artemis 5, and the long-term vision for the Lunar Gateway. Bray emphasized the difficulty in coordinating these elements, noting each of these elements under development and delivery requires near-perfect execution across a complex set of tests and milestones, with very little room for failure. With the complexity of these missions, delays and risk factors are growing. The panel suggests NASA should take inspiration from the Apollo program, where each mission focused on specific goals, ensuring clear progression and risk mitigation. This approach helped Apollo achieve steady advancement toward the moon landing. Another issue is the uneven progress among participating organizations. SpaceX has made significant strides with Starship, though technical challenges remain. Blue Origin has also made progress, but New Glen's debut flight revealed both successes and setbacks. However, the most pressing issues stem from NASA's own infrastructure, its launch systems, rockets, and spacecraft, directly impacting the timeline for Artemis 2. Despite these challenges, there is optimism, especially with SpaceX's Starship consistently hitting unprecedented milestones. The human landing system version of Starship is also advancing, strengthening confidence in its role in future lunar missions. As discussions continue, the space community eagerly awaits updates from ASAP and NASA to see if the Artemis program will undergo any significant changes. Flight 7 may have ruled out catching ship during Flight 8, but the next mission is still set to be groundbreaking. With major upgrades targeting the first success with Ship V2, excitement is building. Elon Musk has teased some of these improvements, giving us a glimpse of what's to come. So how will Starship evolve for Flight 8? After Flight 7, many people have raised doubts about SpaceX's Starship, particularly in regard to the ship-catching plan. While the concept of catching the Starship mid-air using a massive system of flaps is innovative, Achieving this vision is far from straightforward. SpaceX still faces numerous hurdles that need to be overcome, and the recent Flight 7 highlighted some of these issues. In this latest flight, multiple problems surfaced with the ship, including fuel leaks and fires in the aft flap. These issues were significant because they directly contributed to the failure that led to SpaceX activating the flight termination system. While the FTS is a crucial safety measure, it's an indication that things went seriously wrong during the flight. Among the various problems, fuel leaks were considered the main cause. Musk later tweeted that oxygen and fuel leaks occurred in the cavity above the ship's engine firewall. This is a critical area because it houses key systems that manage the flow of fuel and oxygen to the engines. In this case, the fuel likely leaked into the cavity, accumulated, and created pressure that exceeded the venting system's capacity. This excessive pressure could have triggered a fire, which in turn contributed to the failure of the engines. This fire, caused by the leaked fuel, would have disrupted the functioning of the ship's engines one by one, ultimately leading to the rocket losing control. A loss of control in the middle of a flight, especially one involving a massive rocket like Starship, is a very serious issue. The details of this problem were discussed more thoroughly in a previous episode, so if you want a closer look at the technical aspects, the link is in the description. So how will SpaceX address these issues and move forward? To fix a problem as complex as a fuel leak, SpaceX will need to take a methodical and precise approach. Musk has already shared some of the first steps the company will take to address this issue. The first priority will be to conduct a thorough investigation to pinpoint the exact cause of the problem. Musk emphasized the importance of double-checking all aspects of the system. Identifying the precise location of the issue is crucial, as the source of the leak could be elsewhere in the system. The more detailed and accurate the diagnosis, the more effective the upgrades will be. Once the problem is fully understood, SpaceX will implement upgrades to resolve the issue. One of the first solutions involves adding a fire suppression system to the areas where the fuel leak occurred. SpaceX is likely to incorporate sensors that can detect unusual fire activity. These sensors would then activate a specialized fire suppression system to extinguish the fire before it spreads and affects the engines. The fire suppression system could work in several ways. For example, the cooling system might be used to deliver water to put out the fire. Alternatively, carbon dioxide byproducts generated by the engines could also be used to suppress the fire. Another possibility is a cutoff system designed to deprive the fire of oxygen, effectively weakening it over time. This multi-pronged approach should help contain any fire that might arise due to fuel leaks. In addition to directly addressing the fire hazard, SpaceX could take an indirect approach by increasing the vent area. In the current design, the vent system may be too small, leading to a slower evacuation of air compared to the speed at which fuel is leaking. This accumulation of fuel and pressure could make the problem worse. By increasing the vent area, SpaceX would allow air to escape more efficiently, reducing the chances of fuel buildup and pressure overload. While this solution may sound simple, it requires careful consideration to avoid disrupting other vital systems. These are the two major solutions that Musk has revealed so far, but there are many other areas where upgrades may be necessary. The engine heat shield system may need improvements to better protect the engine in case of failures. The Raptor 2 engine currently in use is powerful, but still contains many small sensitive parts prone to failure. While we eagerly await Raptor 3 with its expected upgrades, it may not be ready for the next flight or two. As a result, reinforcing the heat shield and other protective systems for the Raptor 2 engines is critical. While this could add weight to the rocket, the extra mass may be a necessary trade-off for increased safety. The aft flap system also requires upgrades. Unlike the forward flap, which has undergone numerous changes, the aft flap has remained largely unchanged with its original 180-degree symmetrical position. SpaceX may consider making the aft flap smaller, similar to the forward flap, and optimizing the joints which are vulnerable to stress. Additionally, the heat shield around the aft flap must be reinforced to ensure better protection during high-stress phases of flight. These upgrades are likely necessary to address issues from Flight 7, though other potential problems may still need attention. If you have any suggestions for additional upgrades, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section down below. In any case, as SpaceX moves forward, it will be critical for them to not only address these problems, but also continue strengthening their systems to maintain their track record of success. Maintaining reliability and building on improvements will be critical for future milestones. One of several significant achievements from Flight 7 was the performance of the heat shield during ascent. Musk praised the adhesion of the heat shield tiles, marking a significant improvement from earlier flights where vibrations caused frequent tile loss. Ensuring the heat shield's stability during liftoff and ascent lays a strong foundation for future missions and more demanding conditions. Another key area of success has been engine performance. The Raptor engines have shown stable operation at higher thrust levels, supporting increasingly complex maneuvers. However, during the boost back burn on Flight 7, one engine failed to ignite initially, but performed well later during landing. SpaceX will need to address such anomalies to ensure consistent reliability across all engines in both stages. The forward flaps also demonstrated their effectiveness during ascent in Flight 7. This system, which has undergone design upgrades, performed well and will need to continue functioning optimally as it plays a crucial role in stability and navigation throughout the flight sequence. As SpaceX progresses, preparations for unproven tasks are crucial. For example, the payload and dispenser system, not used in the last flight, requires thorough testing to identify potential issues and ensure smooth operation without risks during missions. The engine systems also need further refinement to handle tasks like relighting in space, aiding navigation, deceleration, and supporting landings. SpaceX has already tested reignition in space during Flight 6 and landing control several times in 2024, laying a foundation for enhanced reliability in upcoming flights. Re-entry is one of the most critical phases, placing significant stress on the heat shield and flaps. While these systems performed well during ascent, re-entry will test the forward flap's new design and position, as well as upgrades to the heat shield, including metallic trials and active cooling systems. These systems are also essential for precise navigation during landing. Upgrades for the next flight will span multiple systems. With S-34 and B-15 at the production site after cryogenic tests, it's clear that improvements are already underway. These prototypes will demonstrate SpaceX's advancements and represent a key step toward greater mission reliability. Flight 8 will be a critical milestone, addressing past challenges and advancing SpaceX's goal of fully reusable rockets. Each test provides valuable insights, bringing the company closer to its ambitious goals. All eyes are on Flight 8 to see how these upgrades perform and what breakthroughs it will achieve. The plan to catch the ship using Mechazilla's chopsticks was originally scheduled for Flight 8, but it now seems increasingly unlikely. Several key factors, primarily stemming from the outcomes of Flight 7, suggest this ambitious milestone might have to wait until Flight 9 or beyond. Flight 7, while a significant step forward, left many critical objectives untested. S-33 demonstrated improvements in tile adhesion, higher thrust engines, and the forward flap's role during ascent. However, the flight was cut short, leaving SpaceX unable to verify crucial systems such as satellite deployment, engine reignition in space, and the heat shield, flap, and engine upgrades during re-entry. Moreover, a controlled vertical landing into the ocean remains a prerequisite to ensure reliability for future catching attempts. This incomplete testing strongly indicates that SpaceX may use Flight 8 to address these unfinished tasks. Only after proving these capabilities can the team move confidently toward attempting to catch the ship. Even under optimal circumstances, this pushes the catching attempt to Flight 9, but there is more to this delay than meets the eye. Another key factor involves the surprising role of Tower B, heralding the era of the two towers. While Tower A has been the focus so far, Tower B appears to be specifically designed to catch the ship, raising an interesting question. Why would SpaceX need two towers for this milestone? SpaceX enthusiast Ryan Hansen recently offered an insightful analysis on this very topic, shedding light on why Tower B may be more suitable for catching the ship. Credit is due to Hansen for his thorough research and thought-provoking observations, and following his updates on X is highly recommended for any individual keen on SpaceX's progress. The primary reason Tower B is favored lies in its design. Images of the catching system on S-33 reveal a rectangular contact point underneath the catching mechanism. This design appears incompatible with Tower A's chopsticks, which are currently optimized for catching the super heavy booster. The contact point on S-33 seems too short to create the secure engagement needed with Tower A's landing rail system. Attempting to catch the ship on Tower A could risk damage, especially given the significant speed and mass involved in the ship's landing. The contrast becomes more apparent when comparing this with the catching system on Super Heavy. The booster's contact points are larger, more robust, and well suited to Tower A's chopsticks. While S-33's catching points may only be prototypes, they hint at a future standard incompatible with Tower A's current configuration. One might wonder why SpaceX doesn't simply upgrade the ship's system to align with Tower A. However, this approach would conflict with SpaceX's long-term goals. Evidence suggests that Tower B's chopsticks will feature a redesigned landing rail specifically tailored to the catching points seen on S-33. This makes S-33's design not just a one-off, but a blueprint for future iterations. Thus, using Tower B for the ship catching attempt avoids the inefficiencies of constantly modifying systems. It also aligns with a future in which each tower is dedicated to catching a specific stage. Tower A could remain optimized for Super Heavy, while Tower B handles the ship, streamlining operations for recovery, refurbishment, and reflight. This division of roles also accounts for operational timelines. Even if Tower A were compatible with both stages, the logistics of catching both Super Heavy and the ship with a single tower would be extraordinarily demanding. After catching Super Heavy, it would need to be quickly lowered to the orbital launch mount and moved to its stand to make way for the ship. Currently, it takes SpaceX around 2 hours to complete these steps, based on Flight 7's performance. Considering the ship's return flight lasts about an hour, this timeline doesn't leave enough room to catch both stages efficiently with one tower. Additionally, safety checks must follow each stage's landing to ensure reliability. Attempting to catch both stages on Tower A under these time constraints would increase operational complexity and risk. Another logistical consideration is the orientation of Tower A and the OLM, which is optimized for Super Heavy's return from the Gulf of Mexico. In contrast, the ship will return from the opposite direction, complicating coordination and increasing the chances of interference between the two stages. Tower B, positioned differently, is expected to simplify these operations by handling the ship's return separately. Given these factors, it's clear that Tower B will play a critical role in SpaceX's efforts to catch the ship. Its design, compatibility, and operational advantages make it the logical choice for this ambitious next step. While this means the first catching attempt may be delayed, the groundwork being laid now ensures a more reliable and efficient future for Starship operations. In the end, the delay is a testament to SpaceX's meticulous approach to problem solving and innovation. By taking the time to refine their systems and processes, they're setting the stage for even greater achievements. The prospect of watching Mechazilla's chopsticks catch a returning ship is an exciting milestone. One that will mark a new era in reusable rocketry, and the wait will undoubtedly be worth it. With Tower B currently in its final stages of construction, SpaceX's ambitious goal of creating a dual-tower system for Starship operations has seen significant progress. Recent developments highlight the rapid pace of work being done on this critical infrastructure. On the morning of the 18th of January, water-cooled pipes previously photographed at the Sanchez site were lifted and transported to the construction area. Earlier that same day, the chopstick carriage, one of the first key components of Tower B's catching mechanism, was also moved. By noon, the carriage was lifted upright and placed into the red assembly frame system, a structure erected adjacent to Tower B in late December. Later that evening, a brief road closure signaled yet another milestone, the movement of additional chopstick components to Pad B. By January 20th, various arm sections had been relocated from the chopstick assembly area to the launch site, while reinforcement work continued on the chopstick jig. On Tower B itself, crews were busy preparing for the connection of the chopstick sections, a critical step in completing the tower's functionality. Given the current pace of construction, it's possible that the chopstick sections will be lifted and attached to the tower within the next week or two. However, challenges remain. According to plans previously outlined by the FAA, the construction of Pad B was scheduled to be completed by the end of January. While there is visible progress, it's uncertain whether this timeline will hold unless SpaceX accelerates its efforts significantly. Even after construction is complete, extensive testing of the new systems will be required to ensure reliability. The chopstick arms, for instance, will undergo weight pressure tests and operational evaluations, including lifting, lowering, opening, closing, and rotating. Additionally, several landing support systems, such as landing rails, landing pins, and the Ship Quick Disconnect, must still be installed. These tasks are likely to extend well into February. Musk has suggested that Flight 8 could launch as early as February, but based on the timeline and current progress, it is unlikely that Tower B will be ready for catching by then. Given the results of Flight 7, SpaceX is expected to focus on completing critical tests and system verifications before attempting to catch the ship. This makes Flight 9 a more plausible candidate for the first catching attempt, allowing additional time to ensure the reliability of the systems and infrastructure. SpaceX is also advancing vehicle preparations alongside Tower B construction. S-35, featuring upgrades like enhanced catching systems, is reportedly stacked in Megabay 2, while B-16 is also being readied. Lessons from Flight 7 and the upcoming Flight 8 will be crucial in refining these prototypes. Tower B marks a major step forward for SpaceX's fully reusable rocket vision. By dedicating one tower to the ship and the other to the booster, SpaceX can streamline operations, enhance efficiency, and reduce launch turnaround times. This coordinated approach between Tower B and the Starship prototypes could revolutionize reusable spaceflight. As excitement builds, key questions remain. Will the ship catching system debut in Flight 9? Will the two-tower system redefine Starship operations? While the answers are still unfolding, SpaceX's relentless innovation continues to inspire. Why don't you share your thoughts in the comments? Do you think the ship will be caught in Flight 9? Will both towers be fully utilized? Let me know with a yes or no, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already to stay updated on SpaceX's groundbreaking journey. Now, for our last bit of news today, let's dive into the ongoing debate surrounding SpaceX's Falcon 9 Transporter 12 mission. Launched on the 14th of January from California, this mission delivered more than 130 small satellites to sun-synchronous orbit. These payloads came from various customers, but some of the most notable included Varda W-2, a capsule carrying the company's pharmaceutical reactor, as well as payloads from NASA and the U.S. Air Force, facilitated through the Air Force Research Laboratory. This marked SpaceX's 12th dedicated small satellite rideshare mission, further solidifying its reputation as a leader in making space more accessible to small and medium-sized organizations. Falcon 9, as the most frequently flown orbital rocket in operation today, provides cost-effective and reliable launch services that are highly valued by customers worldwide. One such customer, ExoLaunch, also had a payload aboard this mission. Robert Sproles, ExoLaunch's CEO, expressed his appreciation for SpaceX's role in advancing small sat missions, stating, "Transporter 11 was a landmark mission for us, and as we look ahead to Transporter 12, we're excited to keep the momentum going. We deeply appreciate the trust our customers place in us and extend our thanks to SpaceX for their outstanding support." SpaceX's dominance has drawn criticism from competitors who claim its rideshare model stifles competition and consolidates market share. While not unfounded, these critiques overlook the root issue: slower innovation and less competitive pricing from rivals, all while SpaceX continues to lead through relentless innovation and commitment. SpaceX is revolutionizing the aerospace industry and inspiring limitless possibilities. Each milestone brings us closer to a brighter future of exploration and innovation. Let's go, SpaceX! SpaceX's progress with Starship remains as unpredictable as ever. Previously, a brief road closure was scheduled from midnight to 4 a.m. on February 4th, leading many, including myself, to assume it was for S-34. However, to everyone's surprise, it was actually for Test Tank 16, or what I'll refer to as B-16.1. During that time frame, B-16.1 was rolled out from the Star Factory and transported via Highway 4 to the Massey test site. By now, it should be secured on a test stand, likely preparing for cryogenic or other structural tests. This move suggests that B-16.1 will play a critical role in advancing SpaceX's booster technology, similar to how B-14.1 was used to test the Mechazilla arm catching system. Additionally, recent images reveal that B-16.1 bears multiple markings and signs of wear, indicating it has already undergone rigorous testing. There are several possibilities regarding the purpose of B16.1, and the first and most likely is that SpaceX is using it to validate its first booster V2 prototype. Compared to B15.1, B16.1 appears to have a shorter distance between the top and common dome. It also features several design differences, such as the absence of a vent system and the presence of ramp panels near small stringer bars, suggesting a new attachment method. While these differences alone don't confirm that B16.1 represents a full switch to booster V2, the timing aligns with the ongoing transition to ship V2, which has been in progress since early this year. Given that B14 and B15 were both V1, it makes sense that SpaceX would finally introduce booster V2 with B16. The Massey tests will be crucial in verifying these upgrades, allowing SpaceX to refine booster V2 before its final assembly in Megabay. B16 is currently expected to be completed soon, and the results from B16.1's testing will likely influence any last-minute modifications before it begins its own test campaign. The switch to V2 for the booster is a logical step forward, especially as SpaceX continues to push for full reusability. Beyond this, B16.1 could also be playing a role in testing new upgrades to the ship, specifically in response to the issues encountered with S-33. After Flight 7, it was revealed that a fuel leak in the engine compartment led to increased pressure, ultimately causing a fire that damaged the engines. As a result, SpaceX has introduced several new safety measures, including an improved fire suppression system that will quickly respond to potential leaks and a redesigned venting system to help manage pressure more effectively. Since the engine compartment of the ship connects directly to the top of the booster, along with a hot staging ring, any modifications made to the ship will require corresponding adjustments to the booster for compatibility. While it is difficult to determine from current footage whether B16.1 incorporates these changes, the results from its testing could provide key insights. If successful, these modifications will likely be implemented in future boosters, ensuring safer and more efficient launches. Another possibility is that B16.1 may eventually be moved to Tower B for further testing, much like B14.1 was. This would likely happen once all necessary systems on the pad are fully completed. Tower B is expected to be used for the first ship catch attempt during Flight 9, making it essential that the booster is properly prepared for this critical maneuver. If B16.1 is indeed intended for such testing, it would mark another major step toward achieving full reusability with Starship. The movement of B16.1 signals the beginning of the test campaign for Flight 9, which is expected to accomplish two significant milestones: reaching orbit and successfully landing both the ship and booster using the Mechazilla arms. These objectives are crucial for SpaceX, not only in improving Starship's capabilities, but also in maintaining its competitive edge against emerging challengers in the space industry. With Blue Origin's recent success in reaching orbit with New Glenn despite its failure to land, the pressure is on SpaceX to push forward aggressively. If SpaceX can successfully reach orbit with Flight 9, it will establish a decisive lead, as Starship is vastly larger and designed for full reusability, something New Glenn cannot yet achieve. China's rapid progress in spaceflight also adds another layer of urgency. Last year, Landspace's Zhuque-2 rocket became the first methane-powered vehicle to reach orbit, a milestone that SpaceX has yet to accomplish with Starship. While Zhuque-2 is far smaller and less capable than Starship, its success highlights China's determination to advance its own reusable rocket technology. This makes it even more critical for SpaceX to demonstrate Starship's ability to reach orbit and deploy payloads successfully. Achieving this with Flight 9 would reaffirm SpaceX's position as the leader in next-generation spaceflight and overshadow any emerging competitors. While Flight 9 is still several months away, the upcoming Flight 8 will serve as a crucial stepping stone, providing practical data that SpaceX can use to refine its systems further. Every flight adds valuable lessons, and each upgrade brings Starship closer to its ultimate goal of full reusability. The progress being made with B16.1 is yet another sign that SpaceX is pushing forward at full speed, taking every necessary step to ensure the success of its ambitious Starship program. With so much at stake, the next few months will be a defining period for SpaceX. Will B16.1 pave the way for a successful transition to Booster V2? Will Flight 9 finally achieve orbit and demonstrate the full reusability of Starship? These questions will soon be answered as testing continues. For now, all we can do is watch closely and anticipate the next major breakthrough. Next up, Blue Origin has kicked off 2025 with a significant milestone in its suborbital program. Their latest mission, NS-29, marks the 29th New Shepard launch and the first of the year. Originally set for January 28th, the mission faced weather-related delays before being rescheduled to February 4th at 10 a.m. Central. Fortunately, the mission proceeded as planned. The ascent, separation, booster landing, and capsule landing all appeared to go smoothly. However, there was a minor issue. One of the capsule's 3 parachutes deployed more slowly than expected. A similar incident occurred during a New Shepard mission in May of 2024, indicating that this could be a recurring issue Blue Origin needs to address. This flight wasn't just routine, it had multiple scientific and technological objectives. Blue Origin shared on X, "Today's flight, the New Shepard crew capsule will use its Reaction Control System, or RCS, to spin up to approximately 11 revolutions per minute. This spin rate simulates 1/6 of Earth's gravity. By simulating lunar gravity, customers can achieve their learning and technology readiness for lunar payloads at a much lower cost. Previously, only centrifuges or parabolic flights could simulate the moon's gravity for a few seconds." The mission carried 29 payloads divided into 6 categories: resource use, dust management, improved living conditions, sensors, small spacecraft, and landing systems. Following the flight, Blue Origin announced on X, "We just completed our 29th flight of the New Shepard program, the 14th payload mission, and the first Lunar G flight. The payloads experienced roughly 2 minutes of lunar gravity forces." Company CEO Dave Limp also highlighted the mission's advancements, stating, "For this flight, we enhanced our capabilities by spinning the capsule 22 times faster than usual. It took us just over 20 seconds to reach full spin and begin providing our customers with a simulated lunar gravity environment for over 2 minutes before we slowed it down for re-entry." Despite these achievements, Blue Origin still faces challenges, particularly with its parachute issue, which directly impacts the reliability of New Shepard's landing process. More importantly, the company must shift its focus to preparing for crewed New Shepard missions, a critical step towards solidifying its presence in the suborbital tourism market. Beyond suborbital missions, Blue Origin has yet to provide an update on New Glenn, its much-anticipated orbital rocket. The failure to successfully land its booster remains a significant hurdle, and without clear progress, New Glenn's future appears uncertain. Although Blue Origin continues to claim that it will compete strongly with SpaceX, the company must demonstrate tangible advancements to back up these statements. While Blue Origin is conducting tests related to lunar exploration, SpaceX is preparing for a direct impact on moon missions at an entirely different level. The upcoming IM-2 mission, scheduled for February 26th, will be one of the key lunar missions SpaceX launches this year. The mission's primary spacecraft is the Nova-C Athena lunar lander, developed by Intuitive Machines. It'll carry several NASA payloads under the Commercial Lunar Payload Services program. One of the mission's most significant payloads is the Lunar Trailblazer, managed by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and led by California Institute of Technology as part of NASA's Small Innovative Missions for Planetary Exploration program. Lunar Trailblazer is designed to gather crucial scientific data while orbiting the moon. The spacecraft, weighing approximately 200 kilos, is equipped with scientific instruments and 2 deployable solar arrays. With these technologies, Lunar Trailblazer will be capable of studying permanently shadowed regions and detecting water ice beneath the moon's surface at the South Pole. This data will be vital for future crewed landings and the eventual establishment of lunar bases. Lunar Trailblazer has already arrived at Cape Canaveral, where it will undergo final preparations including battery charging, propellant loading, and integration with the Falcon 9 rideshare adapter. This mission follows Blue Ghost, another lunar lander that will operate on the moon in the coming months, also launched by SpaceX. Later this year, SpaceX will support another lunar mission, Griffin, which will fly aboard a Falcon Heavy. With multiple missions on the horizon, SpaceX is not just contributing to moon exploration. It's shaping the future of humanity's journey beyond Earth. Every mission brings us closer to a new era of spaceflight, where the moon is no longer a distant dream, but a stepping stone to even greater possibilities. The path forward is filled with challenges, but with each launch, each innovation, and each breakthrough, SpaceX is proving that the impossible is just the next goal to achieve. The future of lunar exploration is unfolding before us, and this is only the beginning.
If you build a ship that's capable of going to Mars, well, what if you take that same ship and go from one place to another on Earth?
Starship is undeniably a groundbreaking invention in space exploration. However, its cargo capabilities could also revolutionize the military field. So why would a private spaceship attract military interest? How would Starship's role differ when used for military cargo purposes? When we think of SpaceX's Starship, we often envision its role in space exploration, taking humanity to Mars and beyond. However, the U.S. military has identified another potential use for this groundbreaking vehicle: Earth-to-Earth transportation. This concept involves leveraging Starship's incredible speed and capacity to enable ultra-fast travel between distant points on the planet, and it's a concept that makes a lot of sense. Upon closer examination, Starship is exceptionally well suited for this mission. The first factor that makes Starship ideal for Earth-based cargo transport is its unparalleled speed. Starship is designed to reach orbital velocities using its powerful Raptor engines. In the vacuum of space, where air resistance and weather conditions are non-existent, Starship can achieve speeds unattainable by any aircraft operating within Earth's atmosphere. The process is straightforward yet revolutionary. Starship would launch, reach orbital velocity, and then re-enter Earth's atmosphere to land at a distant location. For the military, this capability offers a game-changing advantage. It would allow for the rapid deployment of high-priority cargo, supplies, or personnel to any location worldwide, responding quickly to emergencies or dynamic operational needs. To illustrate just how fast Starship could be, consider Musk's 2017 presentation at the International Astronautical Congress, where he shared the video, Starship, Earth-to-Earth. It showcased a hypothetical flight from New York to Shanghai taking just 36 minutes. In comparison, a commercial airline would take 12 to 14 hours for the same trip. With Starship, most long-distance flights would take only under 30 minutes, and any location on Earth would be reachable in under an hour. Speed isn't the only metric that sets Starship apart. Its payload capacity dwarfs that of even the largest cargo planes. Standing at 121 meters tall and 9 meters in diameter, Starship is the most powerful launch vehicle ever built. It can carry 150 metric tons fully reusable and up to 250 metric tons expendable. For comparison, the Boeing 747-400, one of the most widely used cargo planes, can transport a maximum payload of about 113 tons. Starship's massive capacity could enable the transportation of military equipment, vehicles, and supplies in a single trip. This includes heavy artillery tanks or even helicopters. While Starship offers unmatched speed and capacity, there is one important consideration. Cargo destined for space travel must be pressurized to withstand the low-pressure environment of space. Without proper pressurization, the reduced pressure could cause air to expand, leading to potentially catastrophic failures such as bursting containers or even biological hazards for transported personnel. Fortunately, SpaceX has extensive experience managing pressurized environments. During the Polaris Dawn mission, SpaceX demonstrated its ability to maintain a safe, pressurized cabin, ensuring the safety of astronauts performing spacewalks. This expertise could easily be applied to Starship's design for Earth-to-Earth transport, ensuring the integrity of both the cargo and crew. Starship's combination of speed, capacity, and SpaceX's engineering expertise positions it as a transformative vehicle for Earth-based logistics. For the U.S. military, it could mean unprecedented agility in responding to crises, supporting operations, or deploying humanitarian aid. While originally envisioned as a spacecraft for interplanetary travel, Starship's versatility opens up incredible possibilities for revolutionizing global transportation. Its ability to reach any destination on Earth in under an hour could redefine not only military logistics but also commercial shipping and emergency response. The future of Earth-to-Earth transportation may very well rest on Starship's sleek stainless steel shoulders. What do you think of this innovative concept? Could Starship become the cornerstone of ultra-fast global logistics? Share your thoughts and don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on SpaceX's groundbreaking developments. Indeed, Starship's capabilities for carrying cargo at speeds over 10 times faster than commercial aircraft are groundbreaking. But what about the cost? One of SpaceX's core design principles is reusability. Starship is designed to be fully reusable, including both the spacecraft and its booster, Super Heavy. This feature could make it particularly suitable for Earth-to-Earth payload transport, enabling frequent flights. Starship's ability to return, land, and be refueled quickly opens the door for multiple high-speed trips between global locations, accommodating both cargo and passenger needs. This reusability significantly reduces travel costs compared to current commercial space vehicles, which often require extensive refurbishment or rebuilding after each flight. Over time, as infrastructure improves, Earth-to-Earth transport with Starship could become far more affordable. Fuel costs are another critical factor. A single Starship launch currently costs about $900,000 in fuel, which is higher than jet fuel costs. However, the primary reason for this is that SpaceX does not yet produce its own fuel. To address this, Musk, alongside another contributor, committed $100 million to the X Prize competition for innovative carbon capture and storage, or CCS, technologies. With this technology, SpaceX aims to produce liquid oxygen and methane internally by capturing CO2 from the atmosphere. If successful, this approach could drastically lower fuel costs while addressing environmental concerns associated with methane usage in Starship. For those concerned about the high costs of shipping goods via rocket, there's another method specific to Earth-based point-to-point missions that could further reduce expenses, using only the upper stage of Starship. In discussions on X, Musk suggested adding 2 to 4 Raptor engines to the Starship upper stage for these missions, enhancing its single-stage-to-orbit capability. This modification would boost cost efficiency and simplify operations. It would allow long-range missions of approximately 10,000 kilometers at speeds of Mach 20, all while maintaining substantial payload capacity. Additionally, using only the upper stage would significantly reduce noise during takeoff and landing, making operations in urban areas like major cities more feasible. These cost-saving measures make Starship highly competitive compared to existing rockets. While not yet fully operational and with some uncertainties about exact costs, SpaceX aims to reduce launch expenses to $2 to $3 million per flight. Achieving this goal would make Starship one of the most cost-effective launch vehicles available, particularly for large payloads. Moreover, Starship's potential to outperform other rockets in cost per kilogram to orbit is significant. For high-capacity and frequent missions, this vehicle could redefine what is achievable in both space exploration and terrestrial logistics. With its groundbreaking combination of speed, reusability, and cost efficiency, Starship is poised to revolutionize not just space travel, but also global transportation. With its revolutionary capabilities, it's no surprise that the U.S. military is highly interested in SpaceX's Starship. The Department of the Air Force is actively exploring the use of rocket cargo transportation for Department of Defense logistics. In alignment with commercial advancements, the Air Force Research Laboratory is evaluating emerging rocket technologies from various vendors to assess their feasibility for rapid global material transport. In 2022, AFRL awarded SpaceX a 5-year, $102 million contract to collect flight data from Starship to demonstrate technologies for point-to-point cargo and humanitarian aid transportation. According to AFRL, logistics speed is at the heart of military supremacy. The organization recognizes that if a commercial company like SpaceX is advancing capabilities to move materials faster, the DoD must engage early and explore adoption opportunities. This motivation underpins the Rocket Cargo Program, a forward-thinking initiative aimed at leveraging Starship's unique attributes for military logistics. Gary Henry, Senior Advisor for National Security Space Solutions at SpaceX, discussed this interest during the 2024 Space Mobility Conference in Orlando, Florida. He highlighted specific use cases where the DoD might require Starship's capabilities. It really came down to specific missions where it's a very specific and sometimes elevated risk or maybe a dangerous use case for the DoD, Henry explained. He noted that the DoD has considered whether such missions necessitate owning a similar asset or if SpaceX could accommodate their needs. The Space Force has also been closely monitoring Starship's progress. Notably, General Chance Saltzman, Chief of Space Operations, was present at Starbase, Texas, to observe the 6th flight of Starship. This demonstrates a high level of interest and engagement at the leadership level. Lieutenant General Philip Garrett, commander of Space Systems Command, has also spoken about Starship's potential. In a roundtable with the Defense Writers Group, he remarked, "We are thinking about how we might use it. The first most logical use, given the payload volume, would be some type of rocket cargo delivery mechanism." He emphasized the Space Force's keen interest in Starship's military utility and their close tracking of its development. Starship's ability to rapidly transport large payloads globally could transform military logistics, making it an invaluable asset for both strategic operations and humanitarian missions. While Starship's groundbreaking capabilities in payload capacity, reusability, and interplanetary travel are clear, significant challenges remain before it can serve as a viable solution for global high-volume cargo delivery. The most significant obstacle is regulatory compliance. Starship must meet national and international aviation and space regulations from organizations such as the FAA, ICAO, and other regional authorities. Concerns about air traffic management, safety protocols, and compliance with flight regulations are critical. Furthermore, environmental issues including carbon emissions, rocket exhaust pollution, noise, and potential damage to the ozone layer will face intense scrutiny from both environmental agencies and the public. Routine, large-scale launches would require rigorous environmental assessments to gain approval. Beyond regulations, practical issues regarding Starship's payload capacities present challenges. While it can carry massive payloads, not all cargo types are suited for its unique design. Large or bulky items might not be an optimal fit within the cargo bay or could require specialized handling incompatible with spaceflight conditions. Additionally, Starship's vast capacity may be excessive for smaller or low-value shipments, reducing its cost-effectiveness in such cases. Truth be told, establishing a truly global cargo delivery system would require significant infrastructure investment. SpaceX would need to develop a network of spaceports and logistical hubs worldwide, a process requiring substantial time, capital, and international collaboration. Scaling this operation while maintaining reliability, efficiency, and safety would add further complexity and costs. While Starship holds immense promise, overcoming these hurdles will be essential before it can revolutionize global cargo delivery. Its ultimate success will depend on innovative solutions to these challenges and continued cooperation with regulators and stakeholders worldwide. Mars, the most Earth-like planet, and our potential home away from home, has captivated humanity's imagination for centuries. Yet, despite this enduring fascination, a clear and practical plan for reaching the Red Planet has often seemed just out of reach. However, that's all about to change. A groundbreaking new proposal has emerged, and at its core is something unexpected: a mini Starship. But what exactly is a mini Starship? And how could it possibly be the key to getting us to Mars? Believe it or not, this ingenious concept might be far more brilliant than it sounds. SpaceX is making remarkable strides in developing its Starship system, bringing Musk's ambitions of Mars colonization closer to reality. However, despite the significant progress, sending humans to Mars within the next 4 years, as Musk originally proposed, seems increasingly unlikely when measured against the challenges of his initial timeline. Back in 2016, SpaceX introduced the ITS, or Interplanetary Transportation System, now known as Starship. This revolutionary spacecraft is designed to enable not only human missions to Mars, but also exploration across the solar system. It features a fully reusable 2-stage design capable of carrying hundreds of tons of cargo. Fueled by methane and liquid oxygen, Starship is intended to be refueled in orbit before beginning its journey to Mars. This bold, all-in-one approach, while innovative, comes with considerable risks, particularly since humanity has yet to set foot on the Martian surface. One of the most daunting hurdles is fuel. Even with orbital refueling, a trip to Mars requires an immense amount of propellant. Mars's thin atmosphere offers little resistance to slow incoming spacecraft, necessitating a propulsive descent for a safe and controlled landing. Moreover, a return mission would demand the mining of Martian resources to create fuel, a process requiring advanced infrastructure, many days, and a substantial array of solar panels to generate the energy needed for fuel production. This is especially challenging when dealing with a massive vehicle like Starship. Fortunately, Musk isn't alone in dreaming of Mars. Scientists and engineers have proposed solutions to address these challenges, including one by Dr. Robert Zubrin, an aerospace engineer and Mars exploration advocate. In his 2019 study, Mars Direct 2, Zubrin suggested a modification to SpaceX's plan, focusing on a smaller secondary spacecraft. This mini Starship concept envisions a scaled-down version of Starship launched into low Earth orbit or near Earth's escape trajectory by the larger Starship. The mini Starship would then complete the trans-Martian injection and land on Mars. Standing 16 meters tall with a 6.4 meter diameter, the mini Starship is compact yet efficient. Capable of carrying approximately 26 tons of cargo to Mars. It would fit snugly within Starship's cargo bay and be powered by either a single Raptor vacuum or 6 scaled-down Raptor engines operating at 40% capacity. Sharing much of its design with Starship, the mini Starship could be developed quickly and more cost-effectively. This smaller craft would address many challenges. Its lighter mass, just a quarter of its mother ship, would significantly reduce the energy and propellant required for a return trip. Consequently, the number of solar panels needed for refueling on Mars could be cut by 3/4. Under this plan, the mini Starship would remain within Starship's cargo bay during launch and Earth departure. This approach minimizes the fuel demands on both vehicles. While Starship avoids a prolonged Mars mission, its turnaround time for reuse could drop dramatically, potentially by a factor of 100 according to Zubrin's calculations. The mini Starship's reduced capacity means it won't transport 100 people to Mars at once, a number unnecessary for the first mission. Realistically speaking, finding that many volunteers willing to venture to an uncharted planet would be a challenge. Zubrin's Mars Direct 2 proposal has gained significant attention among Mars enthusiasts, including Miguel Gurria, who further developed the concept into Mars Direct 3. Together, these efforts outline a comprehensive and practical plan for humanity's first mission to Mars. Let's take a look at how it would work. 2 Starship cargo vessels and 2 mini Starships would be prepared. The cargo ships, carrying essential equipment like solar panels and mining infrastructure, would launch first. Robots and rovers would autonomously deploy and test this equipment. By sending cargo ships ahead, any issues during landing or setup could be identified and addressed before astronauts arrive, ensuring the crew's safety. If the cargo deployment succeeds, the astronauts will embark on their journey to Mars during the optimal 6-month launch window. This timing aligns with the closest orbital alignments between Earth and Mars, maximizing efficiency. In the event of a mission failure or aborted landing, the crew can bypass Mars and return to Earth on a precise 2-year trajectory. The spacecraft carrying the astronauts will also transport crucial supplies, including food, water, and medical essentials, as well as additional solar panels, scientific instruments, and a rover for surface exploration. Upon landing, the crew will assess the condition of all vehicles and equipment before proceeding with their mission objectives. These include scientific research, planting flags, and preparing the harvested fuel for the return trip. After completing their mission, the astronauts will return to Earth aboard their designated mini Starship. The mini Starship concept is more than just a backup plan. It represents a strategic reimagining of how we can achieve interplanetary travel safely and efficiently. By prioritizing modularity and resource optimization, this approach lays a strong foundation for future exploration. Additionally, the mini Starship system could enable a series of precursor missions to Mars. These could involve deploying robotic probes, testing in situ resource utilization techniques, or establishing preliminary outposts. Each mission would provide invaluable data to refine strategies for human exploration, paving the way for more ambitious endeavors. Critics may argue that even this scaled-down plan is fraught with challenges. The logistics of launching multiple spacecraft, ensuring their safe transit, and coordinating their operations on a distant planet are daunting, yet the collaborative efforts of visionaries like Musk, Zubrin, and Gurria demonstrate the power of innovative thinking in overcoming seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Moreover, the mini Starship could prove instrumental in exploring other celestial destinations. Its compact design and versatility make it an ideal candidate for missions to the moon, asteroids, or even the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. This adaptability underscores the broader implications of developing a scalable, reusable space exploration system. At its core, Mars Direct prioritizes the safety and success of humanity's first mission to Mars. It provides an energy-efficient solution while mitigating the risks through careful planning, redundancy, and the use of scalable technology. While SpaceX pursues its plans, NASA is also developing its own Mars mission strategies, which could complement or enhance SpaceX's efforts. Collaboration between these organizations could accelerate progress and provide multiple pathways to achieve the dream of Mars exploration. As SpaceX continues its groundbreaking work, the mini Starship concept offers a practical and efficient way to address key challenges in interplanetary travel. This hybrid approach combines the capabilities of the full-sized Starship with the versatility of a smaller, specialized craft, paving the way for humanity's journey to the Red Planet. The dream of colonizing Mars is no longer a distant fantasy. It's a goal within reach. With the combined efforts of visionaries like Musk, Zubrin, and Gurria, alongside the resources of NASA and other organizations, we are on the brink of a new era in space exploration. The question now is not if we will reach Mars, but when. As we stand on the cusp of this historic achievement, it is crucial to recognize the collective ingenuity and determination driving humanity's pursuit of the stars. Are you ready to witness history in the making? Stay tuned for updates, and let's take this monumental step toward making life multiplanetary. The journey to Mars begins now. And rather than reducing spacecraft size to conserve energy, space agencies are exploring a groundbreaking alternative: nuclear propulsion engines known as space nuclear propulsion. This innovative approach could revolutionize space travel, making deep space missions faster and more efficient. In July of 2023, NASA and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, announced their collaboration on the demonstration rocket for Agile Cislunar Operations Project. The two agencies selected industry partners to develop and test a nuclear thermal propulsion engine, with plans to demonstrate the technology in space by 2027. NASA will work with our longtime partner DARPA to develop and demonstrate advanced nuclear thermal propulsion technology as soon as 2027. With the help of this new technology, astronauts could journey to and from deep space faster than ever, a major capability to prepare for crewed missions to Mars, said former NASA Administrator Bill Nelson. Nuclear thermal propulsion is a type of rocket technology that uses the heat generated by a nuclear reactor to replace the chemical energy used in conventional rockets. In an NTP system, liquid hydrogen is typically heated in a nuclear reactor to extremely high temperatures. The heated hydrogen then expands and is expelled through a rocket nozzle, generating thrust. This method delivers high thrust while achieving twice the propellant efficiency of traditional chemical rockets. This increased efficiency allows for heavier payloads and essential supplies, which are critical for long-duration missions like those to Mars. NASA, working alongside the Department of Energy, is inviting industry leaders to propose preliminary reactor designs for nuclear thermal propulsion systems. The agencies aim to fund multiple concepts to explore diverse approaches. Following this initial phase, subsequent contracts will focus on detailed reactor designs and the construction of test hardware, advancing the path toward realizing NTP technology. NASA is also investigating another promising propulsion system, nuclear electric propulsion, or NEP. NEP systems offer even greater propellant efficiency than NTP but produce lower thrust. These systems use a nuclear reactor to generate electricity, which then powers thrusters that expel gas propellants such as xenon and krypton to propel the spacecraft. While the thrust is lower, NEP systems can sustain acceleration over long periods, making them ideal for extended missions. Their high efficiency means they require significantly less propellant, which is a critical advantage for Mars exploration. As DARPA Program Manager Tabitha Dodson highlights, nuclear propulsion represents an evolutionary leap. Unlike today's chemical systems, which have reached a limit in how far they can evolve, Nuclear technologies are theorized to evolve to systems such as fusion and beyond. Spacecraft maneuvered and powered by nuclear reactors will enable humanity to go farther with a higher chance of survival and success for any mission type. The promise of nuclear propulsion extends beyond efficiency. It holds the potential to address the energy demands of long-duration missions while expanding the boundaries of human exploration. However, challenges remain. Developing and handling nuclear technology in space requires rigorous safety measures and an unwavering commitment to caution. Lessons from the past underscore the need for careful planning and execution as NASA and its partners pursue this ambitious goal. For SpaceX, leveraging nuclear propulsion could be transformative, but accessing and integrating such technology will present hurdles. Collaboration between NASA and SpaceX will be essential, as will innovative input from passionate advocates of space exploration. The journey to Mars is not merely about engineering. It's about uniting resources, creativity, and determination to overcome complex challenges. As humanity stands on the brink of a new era in space exploration, the potential of nuclear propulsion is a beacon of possibility. Its development brings us closer to realizing the dream of interplanetary travel, opening the door to the stars. If you have bold ideas that could help make this vision a reality, don't hesitate to share them. We're all part of this incredible journey, and we're all gonna make it together. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Kevin, and as always, keep looking up.